Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, Minister Cogswell, I mentioned Sea-Tac and its rapid growth. I think we're at 135,000 people a day and almost 50 million a year. I noticed that the site for Sea-Tac says that it was built in 1949 to accommodate 1 million people. So the fact that we're accommodating annually 50 million people shows the stress and strain on the system. And as we discussed yesterday, moving cargo is what we do in the Northwest as well. So these security measures are of utmost importance to us in continuing to do a good job at the security layer, as well as moving in a cost-effective fashion. So wanted to ask you about the new rules for developing the K-9 units and for third-party explosive detections. When will we see those, and what other initiatives are we pursuing to have fully trained teams available for deployment? And then also wanted to ask you about the diversion to the southern border, how many TSA people were diverted, and what were the impacts on lines at airports across the country?
So the program you are noting is, we refer to it as third-party K-9. We published the regulations last December and immediately began training teams. At this point in time, we have more than 171 teams at 30 entities already performing screening, those private screening requirements at those private screening entities already operating today. We expect to see continued growth and volume in that space. We've had a lot of interest in it. As to your question about Southwest border.
But could I, on the K-9 point, so is TSA pursuing other initiatives, or do you think you're going to be more aggressive in just pursuing this third-party stream?
In addition to the aspect around the third-party K-9, we are also looking at the next round, next review, next enhancement of technology that could be available for use in screening of cargo. Similar to the same types of equipment that we use in checked bag today and are moving to the checkpoint, we think there's much greater capability for pallet-sized, much larger size in the cargo screening environment.
So it's safe to say that Sea-Tac will be seeing aggressive use of K-9s and,
yes,
and that TSA will be continuing its own efforts as well as whatever Sea-Tac does on its own.
Absolutely. This is an area that we think is absolutely ripe for continued evolution, and we're very pleased at all the partnership we have that's dedicated to that mission.
Okay, now, southern border.
On to the southern border. We have been detailing personnel to support CBP since early in the summer. The high water point of the total number of people that we had down at the southern border at any given time was about 350. Today, we are down to around 180, post Congress's approval of the supplemental, as well as the decrease we have seen in the number of migrants appearing at the border. The individuals we send are all volunteers. They chose to support that mission. We are incredibly grateful for their choice to perform and serve in that function. Types of activities they perform include providing transportation from detention facilities to hospitals, while they're at the hospital, making sure that there's a security layer, and then returning them to detention facility. Other areas include helping provide supplies, inventorying personal belongings when someone arrives, other aspects in that front. As we continue to go forward, we made very clear decisions as we were going through the setup of that program that we would not endanger transportation security or greatly disadvantage any one location. So we specifically designed the volumes of people and locations to have minimal impact.
So you're saying minimal impact or no impact? I know you mentioned to me that you exempted all the high-volume airports from being impacted. So you took or volunteers from places where you're saying they basically had little or no impact. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we selected, so if you're talking about people who work at our checkpoints, we specifically designed it for those locations where we could do so, recognizing what the volumes were at that location. Other places that we look to, of course, are our federal air marshals. So we selected individuals recognizing that we would see in the near term some decrease in the number of, for example, Viper missions that were run at various surface locations, or some decrease in our lower priority flights. But we have been able to manage and maintain that amount to minimize impact.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.